I am a believer in the Detroit Lions. And it's not because Jared Goff has resurrected his career. He has done that. It's not because we know they've got dynamic playmakers offensively. It's the defense.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, the dirty word in Detroit is defense. They can actually play it. And, we saw it last year, and I know Hard Knocks, if you remember that last year, and the beginning of the year, their defense was just a sieve. It looked terrible. We went, oh, my God, Aaron Glenn, this is we got to give credit where credit's due. They have figured out some things. And now Aiden Hutchinson has really changed, I think, the whole framework of that defense. They nailed that pick.
Boy, he was sitting right there for the Jacksonville Jaguars to take, and they elected not to.
Boy, that doesn't look great today. But it really has been. He's the guy that kind of gets everything started defensively for the Lions. Now they're going to go to Charm City and take on the Ravens. The Ravens are so perplexing to me. And I'm watching them this morning as I wake up, have some coffee early in the morning over there in jolly old London. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna figure out a way to lose this one. And they didn't this time. But they just figure out ways to make games more interesting than they should. If you let the Lions hang around, that ain't Tennessee. I think it could be a different outcome next week. I don't know what to believe because I actually believe, I can't believe I'm saying this, in Detroit, maybe more so than the Ravens.
Yeah, and look, we'll start with Detroit here. Holding Tampa Bay to 6 points. I know not a great offense, but still made them look very ordinary. And just the guys that they had brought in, the quality of player that they have in the secondary. Keep in mind, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who they brought in from Philadelphia, has been hurt. So you look at what Detroit is doing, and you do got to give a hat tip to Jared Goff. I don't know if I'd put Jared Goff in like the elite quarterbacks of the NFL, but he's only one step below. He's only one level below, in my opinion, for what he has been doing over the last couple of years in this offense.
And look at the numbers today. Again, because you go 20 points, it's a pedestrian day. 353 and a couple touchdowns with 44 attempts. So we saw David Montgomery went out. Jahmyr Gibbs wasn't even able to go. So they were really down running backs. They felt a little bit like Friday Night Lights. Give me a running back. Right? They're looking for Boobie Miles out there because they got nothing. And yet Jared Goff's like, all right, that's cool. I'm on Ross St. Brown, and I'll find him 12 times for $124 and a touchdown, and I'll chuck it 44, even just to get 20, and we'll rely on our defense, and that's good enough to win. I mean, I look at that and I go, that's winning football. I'll figure out if we can't run it, I can trust Jared Goff to do it through the air.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, his offensive line, who is very good, is going to have to be on their game because Ravens got 6 sacks, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
On both Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis, who had to come in when Tannehill got injured. But you're right about the Ravens is that there were times that they looked a little sloppy, but they really controlled the game, had the ball for about 36 minutes, 360 to 233. Lamar did throw that bad interception in the second half. But I think with the Ravens too, Dave, and one of the reasons I laid them and used them in my contest entries out here is because even though I don't like to ever go against Tennessee hardly when they're an underdog because we know how good Mike Vrabel is, but the Ravens finally are healthy. And they look about as today was about as good of an injury report as I've seen for the Baltimore Ravens in probably about 3 years. like they had all those linemen that were out earlier in the year were back.
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey was back. Their safety was back. And now one safety that could be out next week, maybe Kyle Hamilton. We'll have to see if he gets suspended for that targeting.
Yeah. And he got ejected from the game today. It was an ugly-looking hit, right? And I'm with you. We'll figure out. But, if the NFL goes down that road, and that could really affect – I mean, you take out Kyle Hamilton from that secondary against Detroit, that's a huge deficiency.
Yes.
Look, I'm not –
especially against the run.
Right? And I'm not a legislator of the league office, but I hope he doesn't. But this thing hasn't moved. 2.5's where it opened. We're still sitting right there. As a matter of fact, in the total, it's come down just a tick from 45 to 44.5. That's respect for both.
Yeah, I think so. And this number really didn't move. Lamar historically not a great favorite, a little bit better as a small favorite, but and absolute money, like you have to bet on him when he's an underdog. But I think that this number is right here. I think Detroit is absolutely for real, and this is another kind of prove it game because I think Baltimore is a respected team and a good solid team. So, if Detroit can go on the road to Charm City and beat the Ravens, then all of a sudden that wakes people up even more. So I think that this number is right. This could be a teaser game as the total gets lower.
And I just look at it and I go, boy, I really want to back the Ravens under a field goal at home, the ultimate weapon in Justin Tucker if the game's close. But I'm with you. It kind of feels like they have, for 5-2, like if you said before the year, we're going to start off with the Ravens and they're going to be 5-2, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go, well, or with a 4-2, rather. 4-2 to start off the year.
Okay.
You say, I'll take that, right? Because it was a daunting schedule at the beginning of the year, and you got key wins in the division over the Browns to begin and the Bengals, right? But their 2 losses, like to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, and again, a nice bounce back, win today against Tennessee, they just haven't looked like offensively they're close to putting up 30, 35 and putting somebody away early. They don't do that.
No, they don't. They can let teams hang around a little bit. But I think it's going to take time just to get all these guys back from injury and get them used to playing with each other again. And you kind of saw a little bit of sloppiness today, even though the Ravens clearly the better side in London.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.